The Wu-Tang Clan is not only the greatest rap crew of all time, but they're also one of the best musical groups of any genre. And I've decided to rank my 100 favorite Wu-Tang albums. My list will contain both group and solo studio albums by the 10 official members. This also includes side projects that have at least one of the 10 members as lyricists in that group. But there will be no Wu affiliate albums, as that would be an entirely different list. Same for compilations, mixtapes, and soundtracks. I'm also leaving out albums that are shorter than 25 minutes long, and I'm excluding anything released prior to 36 Chambers, as well as everything that was released after its 30th anniversary. Finally, there's no Once Upon a Time in Shaolin because I haven't heard that yet. Alright, it's time to bring the ruckus. I've ranked my top 100 Wu-Tang albums. Number 80.
Devils don't know, get they heads severed. My whole team is guard, did you get the message? Muslim security set by every exit. Calculate the world, everything is measured.
The excellent production by Stu Bangas does a lot of the heavy lifting to raise third chamber Grail bars to this high of a position. The short runtime is part of what kept it low on my list, but there are still some nice verses by a mature Cappadonna, as well as from guest lyricists such as Planet Asia, Ill Bill, and especially Self-Titled.
If you liking how it sounds, then it's kosher for me. Nah, I'm not the type to just loke on the beat. I like to twist something up, put smoke on the beat. I put my lyrics in your head, put hope on the street.
Number 79.
I'm okay, babe, how you? I'm alright, just that the baby's kicking. I want some Popeye chicken, and my back kinda hurt from the way I was sitting. Hurry home so you can rub my big belly and kiss it.
The Emerald City has more of an R&B flavor, but don't think that Ghost is going soft. He still brings it rugged and raw. And there's still some more traditional Tony Starks, such as with Guest House. But regardless of the genre and style, there's consistently superb lyrics as always. Unfortunately, the lack of appearance by any other member of the clan brings it down just a bit.
In the crib on this rainy day, I'm chillin'. Glass pianos and Portuguese drapes hang from the ceiling. Persian rugs, Moroccan sofas. I walk to the house in paisley robes and Ferragamo loafers.
Number 78.
Feds hit the mansion last week on some King Kong. Sats topping on the door like it was ping pong. Shells hit the doorbell, it went ding dong.
The newest entry on my list, as it was the most recent album released prior to the 30th anniversary of 36 Chambers. So I admit there's probably some recency bias going on, but Cap keeps showing flares of brilliance, which means his greatest work could still be yet to come. Fittingly, the best track on this album, Yasuke, comes at the very end, and it's one that I can listen to over and over again on repeat.
Wu-Tang Clan at the SWAT new edition.
Swarming unpredictably, we spread terror.
Killer Beez swarming, protect your neck. There's no escaping once my blade starts scraping.
Number 77.
Magnificent high score, master plan, the crowd roar. Throw up daily doses, get ready for the downpour. Human cannonball, matador standing at your door. Battle your sound more, get ready for the round 4.
Dopium is a solid album. Nice beats, great verses by Younge and the many guest vocalists, which do include half of the clan showing up. But one thing to know, even though there are 16 tracks, 5 of them are just remixes of other songs on the album. So it's cool to get alternative versions of some of the bangers. Problem is, the style of these remixes really aren't my cup of tea. And they also don't fit that well with the rest of the album.
Back, retire mics, take rap to higher heights. Big back, green rap, blow it up, dynamite. Sniff my China white, touchdown with King Cobras. All my life, pay the price. Nickname me Steamroller.
Number 76.
Hip hop icon, my name Cappadonna. Give me a minute, y'all, so I can put my Nikes on, put my ice on, get my nights on. I get back at y'all before they put the lights on.
This is an eclectic one that's hard to pin down, at least for me, but I mean that as a compliment. Sometimes tracks on an album can be so different from each other that song changes are abrasive and they take away from the overall feel. Thankfully, that doesn't happen with the Pillage too. Yet, there's still a surprising variety of sounds and styles to show off Cap's range. And this is also helped in part by the different guest vocalists who step up when given the opportunity to shine.
I love the music cause it killed all the stressfulness. Now I feel blessed, I ain't better than the rest, but I crush more stage than you crushed on steps. And oh yeah, protect your neck.
Number 75.
Impeccable, I'm more than intellectual. Dog throwing dawn that is stir frying vegetable. Tone channel or murk your grandma for them dead presidents. You should never bite the hand, pa.
I'm grateful to have these tracks. I just wish there were more verses from Ghost. If you take out the intro, outro, and the 2 interludes, then you're left with only 8 songs. And each of these have at least 2 featured guest vocalists. So we don't really hear that much from GFK. But still, it's cool to have things like Ghostface and Big Daddy Kane appearing on the same track. That right there is a legendary team-up of real ones. Regardless, the best song is Watch 'Em Holla, an early Wu-sounding collab with Ray, Cap, and Masta Killa.
Throw rice at my feet, rose petals, Malaysia short. I smoke 2 Cuban cigars in a Newport. An ounce of the blueberry, big bottle of Tito's. Count the plaques on the wall like I sing for the Beatles.
Number 74.
I drink rice soaked in coconut milk mixed with tofu. Sit in the sun 6 hours and I charge up like Goku.
In a previous entry on my list, I mentioned that one of the reasons that particular album ranked so low was due to the letdown from being the immediate follow-up to a high-ranking album that I loved. In that case, it was the Gravediggers' sophomore release after 6 Feet Deep, and here we have RZA again, but this time as his Bobby Digital alter ego instead of the Resurrector. I loved the first Bob Digi release so much, the sequel just didn't live up to my anticipation and high expectations coming off the original. But it does still have some great bangers.
The most beloved from a region undiscovered. I've been hovered over by black buzzard walking through public. Imagine the feeling of growing up 10 children stuffed inside a shack in the project buildings.
Number 73.
Bag ain't right here about this mic. I've been doing this all my life. My time invest, keep getting that check, cause you know I keep giving my best. My flow's deep and I'm from the street. I don't care about none of that stress. My mind is focused, new chain with a goldfish. Toe ship, but nobody can't hold this.
Though there aren't many standout bangers on Black is Beautiful, this still is Cap's most solid all-around album from top to bottom of the past decade. Of all his albums on my list so far, I think that Black is Beautiful is the one that I could put on repeat for full playthroughs. And it may also be his single most positive album in regards to the lyrical content. So Cappadonna reminds us, once again, Wu-Tang is for the children.
I'ma keep my mind, I'ma keep my life, I'ma keep my family right. All the time when I'm on the grind, never ever let them out of my sight. I'm doing my best to complete the test, my knowledge gonna show my progress. I don't eat the most and I speak the less, but everybody know me and my projects.
Number 72.
Once again, it's the super high piper. Light your lighters for the future. And I ain't talking about Makai Pfeiffer. Roll it if you got it, people. At last, the prequel and the oddball. Blower is back. You find no equals.
Almost every track features a different guest artist, including Busta Rhymes, who I personally want to team up with Meth for an entire album, and also Snoop, Missy Elliott, Ludacris, and many more. Now that sounds dope on paper, but along with the unfocused production, it actually combined to make for an incohesive album. Plus, I kinda had hoped that Tical Zero was going to be the origin story of Johnny Blaze, taking place before 36 Chambers. Imagine if the guest vocalist on each track was a different member of the clan, and they appeared in the order that they first met Meth, culminating with a full posse cut at the end. Now I admit those were some pretty high hopes.
Kid, I got a murder rap, in my head is simple. Open up the bullets, put the lead into the pencils. And people saying, Wu gon' break up, y'all, we got your numbers. It's time you got your wake up calls.
Number 71.
Bulletproof goose pillows. I'm still alive since the last time I left. Teflon pajama set, truck armor, neck, on way ahead. Booth for 8 bomb, get drunk and paint the whole town red.
Some of the tracks on 718 are songs that didn't make it onto Ghostface's The Pretty Tony album, but they fit right in here on the only studio release by GFK's crew, Theodore Unit. Still, one of the consequences of sharing the mic with Tony Starks is that it underscores exactly why he's such an undeniable star. His lyrics, flow, and charisma just cannot be matched. The rest of the crew are still great and the beats are solid, but it also reminds that as good as those musicians are, they're just not the original clan rapping over RZA soundscapes.
None of these rappers can touch my pen. I'm a killer, that's why I bounce back in the end. I'm not Freddie or Jason or on probation. The Lifetime Achievement Award is what I'm facing.
Number 70.
Hey yo, I'm back blowing dust off the vinyl. I got 12 more reasons to die. Snap your spinal contracted killer with the promise of life. I hope you burn them DeLucas for killing your wife.
Though not nearly as good as the original 12 Reasons to Die, which would be near impossible since that album is almost perfect, Part 2 is still a solid continuation of the legendary lore of Tony Stark's and the Ghostface Killah. And one of the best upgrades here is the inclusion of mini verses by Raekwon. But if you take out the introduction and the interludes, then the total amount of music is much less than the already short 32-minute runtime. However, that just leaves me wanting a Part 3 to complete the trilogy.
Titted the Lucas down like the legend of Tone Stars. Top breaks around his ankles, have a swimming with sharks. Dynamite they safe, looking for heirlooms. It's personal, I want the keys to the tombs.
Number 69.
Gotta stay on my feet, I can't slip. Remain focused cause these vultures are lurking, praying I don't win. But they can forget about it because I ran for this. Yeah, tears of sweat, devoting my life, I bled for this.
Though the beats are far from groundbreaking, The Wild is still a solid album due to Raekwon's consistently great lyricism. And because of his timeless storytelling and naturally smooth flow, I expect that The Wild will hold up as time passes. The main reason it doesn't rank higher on my list is due to the absence of any other member of the clan. But one thing for sure is that Raekwon hasn't lost a step and is still one of the best of all time. And I can't wait to hear Cuban Links Part 3.
From shooters in buildings to coops in the pavilions, play wealth, keep your health and your heart first. The belts that's been passed from the last car collisions and cracks. We was there rolling up, holding duffel bags, there's facts.
Number 68.
It's the sound of the slums, drama with drums. You pop shots with the corks, cause a problem for some. Got the whole city up, floating with the semi-tuck, roaming out of zone, and I'm known in the gritty cuts.
At his best, the Rebel INS is one of the greatest to ever do it. At his worst, he's still one of the greatest. And I do like The Resident Patient, it's just my least favorite from his catalog of music. A lot of time in this album is given to Deck's house gang crew, which is admirable, but that does drag it down just a little bit. Plus, there's no RZA, but at least his influence can be heard throughout. This is especially apparent on the cinematic little story track, which begins with a shout out to the Abbot by perhaps his sharpest swordsman.
Certified live, provide the dope side. Both coats slide, my vibe is so fly. Sick kids see me get big for 6 pigs. I flip wigs, let it be known the kid lives.
Number 67.
How dare you attack my system? How dare you attack my wisdom? Try to ransack my system, attacking my women and children?
Keep in mind that the RZA released 3 short Bobby Digital albums within a 9-month time period. And if you were to combine those 3 into a single album, then that might have broken into my top 10. The Pit of Snakes was the second of the 3 to be released, and it's the best of the bunch. But it's only 7 songs, so this is about as high as a 29-minute album can rank. Regardless, I also recommend the Pit of Snakes graphic novel, as it's a fun companion piece to the album and contains an epic battle between Bobby Digital and the RZA.
Unlimited bliss, a love exists, a sun and star exists, the RZA raptor, he exists. Bobby Digital, do I exist? Or am I just a bunch of O's and ones, qubits and bits?
Number 66.
Fresh out the jungle where the blue boys run, we carry Rugas, smoking toast from your throat like mullahs. Hitting reefer, playing my square, windbreaker jacket, holding my beer, rock and rolling my lair.
Meth, Ghost, and Ray were the main ones keeping the Wu flag flying high during this otherwise lackluster period for the clan. So it's fitting that those 3 would come together to kill it. As soon as you hear that criminology sample and Ghost's voice, the energy goes to the roof and you know it's on. And somehow 2.5 might even be better than the original, despite Ray not having a verse. But Wu Massacre is only 30 minutes, so I need to hear a part 2 that's twice as long and still this strong.
Here's a rundown, Mustafa's getting money out in Youngstown. Get some goons together, a driver, and bring them guns down. Heard he got his hands on some bricks, plus a few pounds. Him and some wild Haitians, set up shop in a few lounge.
Number 65.
Another spine chiller, UG RZA, MASTA Killa.
I love how Made in Brooklyn begins with the next generation laying down verses. It raises my spirit every single time I start this album from the top. Then the next track keeps the good time going with a quintessential MF Doom reused beat. Soon after that, we get the always dynamic duo of Raekwon and Ghostface killing it on track 4. And not to be outdone, later we're blessed with a joint laced by both GZA and Deck. But my favorite song is Iron God Chamber, which features U-God, Meth, and RZA.
Great mind stays divine, my hands remain deadly. We shine without the hung jury, produce light that'll travel through mics. Now as the time ripened, we took words that were nourishing, encouraging.
Number 64.
February 10th day on a Wednesday, it's like Grimm's Day. Russian hats rocking it the Benz way. That day we got guns on us, Jake's want us, playing Einstein lenses and Auroras.
Even though I like it now, Immobilarity was the first Wu-Tang album that I didn't like when it originally came out. But it also had a lot going against it at the time too. First off, it had the impossible role of being the follow-up to the legendary Purple Tape. Second, there aren't any songs with production from the RZA, and Ghostface doesn't make a single appearance. Finally, the skits are long and they fall flat. Over the years, I've grown to enjoy Immobilarity more and more, but if it was up to me, I'd still take out that intro, outro, and the skits and just focus on the music.
Me, not the ambitious one. I'd rather be there, throw a word or two in. We here, I know we worth money, yo. Just relax, start analyzing before you start adding your sales tax.
Number 63.
The man of steel couldn't bend me, time couldn't end me. Even the great devil Satan had tried to befriend me.
One thing about RZA, he's gonna experiment in his lab and take risks traveling to unexplored dimensions. This is consistently true for his production, vocals, and ideas, and the results are expectedly unconventional, but also a bit schizophrenic at times too. I've always liked this first solo album by Mr. Diggs as the RZA. However, a few misses have kept me from ever truly loving it. Still, there are some moments of brilliance, such as his production on The Whistle, and also the polarizing See the Joy track with its existential celebration by a successful sperm cell.
I'm the ace in the deck, still casing the check that's filled with the taste of the lead. Fuck, the bass in the trap, the space in the back when chumps walk by and their face gets slapped.
Number 62.
Quick, toss the bomb in the garbage. Come here, shorty, here, take this revolver. You get caught, don't say it's your father's. Don't say my name, say you founded the Yonkers.
Because Set the Tone came out after Wu's 30th anniversary, this is the most recent GFK album on my list. And I absolutely love it. Every single time I listen to Ghostface Killah's, I go crazy for it from the start, and I just never want it to stop. But then suddenly it does. Seriously though, almost every single minute of this thing is straight banging. Problem is, there's only 33 of them. But it's incredible that Ghost is still putting out this kind of work into his 50s. And I can't wait to hear Supreme Clientele 2.
We can go bar for bar, tie hands together with the ox, go scar for scar. Go ahead and act up. Injuries gonna add up. Walking out the ER like a mummy all wrapped up.
Number 61.
SZA, this is called Ruckus in B minor. Ray, all those bad times is behind us.
Everybody needs to go back and reevaluate this underrated album now that some time has passed. Like many fans, I didn't really care for it when it first came out. But just like the other Wu-Tang Clan albums, they stand up to time and grow with each replay. Though A Better Tomorrow is far from their best, I bet it's better than you remember, especially if you haven't listened to it in years. Having said that, there is one song halfway through with a cartoonish chorus so ill-fitting that it almost derails the entire album. But the ill verses miraculously save it.
Precise like a shooter at the range, but I ain't trying to shoot it with you rappers, I just shoot it at your name. Y'all never should've threw me in the game. Found a new word for weed that was so me, I threw it in my name.